Run the play, they do.
Go.
And holy cow,
Wow.
big number 44.
Okay.
That's Bruno Gonçalves.
Fires it. Picked off on the run down the sideline.
It's like Tripp.
It's Tripp. Tripp has it. Touchdown.
And that's a terrific
Good
tackle.
Gonna throw it deep, and it's complete on. Wow.
Looks like Gus Smiley came down with it.
The Purple Panthers threatening, and Jackson keeps it, calls his old number, drills and drives, twists and turns. Complete, and still on his feet.
Oh,
To the right side, he's gone. The 20, the 10, the play of the game for Colvin Levac, touchdown.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to Nashua ETV's broadcast of high school football. Now, I always say this, Rich McDonough, I'm Tom King along with Rich McDonough. I always say it, have we got a treat for you? And we do. It is the Division I quarterfinals. We are here at Londonderry High School. It is Nashua South, number 6 seed, coming in against Londonderry High School, the number 3 seed in the Division I playoffs. So Rich McDonough, this should be an interesting game. Nashua and Londonderry, they did not play during the regular season. This is Nashua South's big test. I always said South is on the verge of being a team that is semifinal ready. This is a game where we'll find out one way or the other, right?
Well, and they've got explosive players all over the map, on offense, obviously on defense, but they've got 6 or 7 guys who can go to the house at any given play to Nashua South Purple Panthers. And Coach Lauzon for Londonderry said so. They're explosive, and they've got to be disciplined against South.
Take it away, Rich McDonough. I will stay here for the first series, and then I will head down on the field.
All right, and Dawson runs back the opening kickoff for the Lancers. It's a beautiful day here.
Oh, gorgeous day.
Gorgeous. I mean, this is classic football weather. I grew up playing football into high school, and this is the day you kind of live for. And Karuru is on the tackle for Nashua South. South comes in at 8-2, 7-2 in New Hampshire, and as Tom King said, 6th seed against the hometown Lancers at the 3 seed.
And I always said, this is a matchup that's interesting. If Londonderry wants to win this game, I think the key is to run the ball for them. South is very good against the pass. Londonderry likes to do a lot of gadget things, a lot of trick things. I don't know if that works against Nashua South.
Yeah,
those kids are really savvy.
They're disciplined, and I saw them, and Scott Knight is the coach there, and that's a function of his endurance and durability in the game and his commitment to discipline. But I saw Londonderry do a couple of gadget plays against Exeter last week, and, you know, they ought to just stick to their knitting, stick to the basics.
Yep.
But they can do it. They've got Ogden and Cruz at skill positions, and they've got some big tight ends and some big fellas on the line. And immediately Palma takes that pitch, and excuse me, not Palma, that was Cruz, the aforementioned player, 5'9", 205. He's got a dynamic build, Tom.
And what do you see? You saw that run, 10, 15 yards.
And then they pulled the lineman interior, and you got big old number 76, Paul Binder, leading the way at 6'7", 290. That's NFL size and hard to get around him.
And yeah, exactly. And we'll see how Londonderry plays it. You know, you script those plays to start the game and try to set a tone. And I'll tell you something about South. Now they're going to go to the air right away.
All right, they flare,
yeah,
they flare Cruz out of the backfield. And I think one of the things that, you know, South has a very good defense, and they're very quick, and they're disciplined, so you want to stay ahead of the chains if you're the Lancers.
Well,
they're home field.
And don't forget, the wind's going to play a factor in the air game.
Agreed, yeah.
You know, no doubt about it.
And it was windy at Exeter last week. Exeter was able to pass, but as Coach Lauzon said, they didn't have good eye discipline on defense. They'll change that today. Lauzon's a great coach.
And that's a good stuff right there against the run.
Yeah, really good job stacking it up in there.
Cruz on the run for the Lancers. Pickup of 2 on the play.
And there's our fella Kevin Dubisi, number 50 for the Panthers. And we said earlier in the game that he's their stalwart on defense.
Well, you're in no man's land here. You're at the 39-yard line. I imagine this is 2-down territory for Londonderry.
Oh, yeah. 3rd down and 5. They're just inside the 40. No score. We're just getting underway. It's 10:25. Rich McDonough and Tom King here. And Ogden's back. A little pitch out there. Beautifully designed play.
Yep.
All the attention went to Ogden, and Cruz had nothing but green space. And he goes about 30 yards on 3rd and 5. Nice job. Great play design there, Tom King.
You know, it just seems that left side has been a problem.
First down and 10.
And it's 1st and 10, about the 15-yard line.
See, they run right. They don't get the same mileage out of it. Well, they got 6 yards. They got inside the 10.
Right. Ogden, I tell you what, I was watching him against Exeter last week. That young man has some shifty moves, like you can't draw it up. It's just a God gift right there. His jab step, his inside out moves, and then back inside. It's incredible.
Boy, I tell you what, 4 or 5 plays, and they're already inside the 10-yard line. That's
he's got 4 right there. Give it to him again. And you see him pick those holes, Tom King?
Yep.
And that'll move the sticks one more time. We're going to have 1st and goal.
For the Lancers.
I'll tell you what, though, this could be a high-scoring game because Cody Jackson for South can do the same things that Ogden does.
And I talked to Coach Lauzon, and he said Jackson is as explosive as the Exeter quarterback, maybe more so. And that's why he said they have to have great eye discipline on defense. But here we go, first and goal, and the first drive of the day. 9:09 on the clock, 0s on the scoreboard. Londonderry looking to change that in a hurry. Handed off to Cruz, and he uses that powerful frame, and he gets it in from 1. And at 8:59 in the first quarter clock, on the first drive of the day, 6-0 Lancers.
Wow.
That was a very, very fine drive to get out of the gate, Tom.
How methodical was that drive? All right, Rich McDonough, while they do the extra point, I'm going to head down on the field and be there for South's first drive. So I will join you probably in between the start of the second, probably close to the start of the second.
All right, Tom, the ubiquitous one, doing double duty for the Telegraph and everything else in between. Photos, journalism. Hey, do you have a printing press at home, Tom? All right.
The extra point attempt by Thompson is good. So the score is now
and Thompson's point after is good. That'll make it 7-zip. Again, it's 8:59 on the clock. Tom King's headed down to the field. Rich McDonough, I'll stay with you while he's gone. Tom, it's more fun with you, but it's fun to be here in Londonderry. What a great afternoon. And I tell you, I'm parked next to the Londonderry Marching Band, and these kids are phenomenal. I'm a Bishop Girton quarterback parent. He's graduated last year, Mike McDonough, and it was always fun to listen to these young people play. And that's why they've been world-renowned. They've traveled all over. And as I talked to Coach Lauzon the other day, if you can't get ready when you hear these kids play, you can't get ready at all. All right, fantastic drive right there by Londonderry. They had great field position off the opening kickoff, and consequently they get on the board very, very quickly. Just in the span of 3 minutes and 1 second, on courtesy of an Adrian Cruz run from the 1. All right, Thompson set to do the kickoff duties. Back deep is Colin Kahanik, number 2. Pardon me, it's Barry Patrick. It was Kahanik, but ball lands dangerously in front of Diego Cabrera. He gets into the pack, and they're saying he fumbled it. Londonderry's checking it out. The referee, all that counts, and they do. They recover the opening kickoff going the other way, and Cabrera is hurt. He's down and he's limping off the field, but he fumbled, and Lancers recovered at the 21-yard line at 8:55 with a glaring chance to go up by 2 scores early. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 21. Lancers and Ogden come back on the field. Number 12, terrific shifty quarterback, got the whole game, folks. And Nashua South's defense is going to be tested early. We thought they might be tested often, but not this often this early. All right, Ogden gets him set in the I formation. And he reads it, an RPO there, bounces to the outside. Good pursuit by the edge players there for Nashua South, courtesy of the ever-quick Colin Levesque leading the tackle out there. And Levesque is one of those guys. He's a force player, but he's also a force of nature on offense. Swiss Army knife, truly, for head coach Scott Knight. I got to call their game against Bishop Girton last week where they demolished the Cardinals 59-26. And they've got weapons everywhere, but they got to get the ball and they got to hold on to the ball. 2nd and 9 for the Lancers. Big pitch, gets it out to Cruz. Cruz runs, plows through a tackler. Would-be tackler was Bruno Gonsalves, and Gonsalves is hurting. And he's really in discomfort. He's lying at the 20-yard line there, and he's clearly hurt. But Cruz picked up 5, and while we take that break, medical attention for Gonsalves. Cruz ran through that tackle, and it looked like he might have gotten his arm caught up in the thing, and they're asking for extra attention. You just pray the young man's okay. Anyway, we saw last week South had a disappointing loss, 14-6 loss to Goffstown to close out the regular season, and Goffstown was able to run it down their throats. But last week they got back to their team ethos, which is a high-octane kind of performance. Gonsalves is up, and he's holding that arm, and great show of sportsmanship from the Lancers community here. And as a longtime coach myself, lacrosse coach and basketball coach, you just like seeing that sportsmanship. Gonsalves is headed off to the corner in obvious discomfort, and let's hope the young man's okay. But when we rejoin things, the refs will set the ball at the 15-yard line, and it's 3rd and 5 from there. Or long 4. We'll call it 4. They called it 4 on the scoreboard, so let's go with it. Ogden marches him up to the line in that same I formation. Very powerfully built Jordan Ball, number 1, in the fullback position right there. And he leads, he goes around it, and there's no doubt about it. There goes Ogden into the end zone, crack it up for 6 more at 7:47 in the first quarter. And there was no stopping that one. You got Jordan Ball out in front of you. And Cruz at 5'9", 205. He's built like Emmitt Smith. And nobody laid a glove on him. And the Lancers, courtesy of a efficient, to say the least, explosive opening drive to make it 7-0, and then taking that fumble at the 21-yard line on the ensuing kickoff, and looking to make it 14-0 in a hurry. Blake Thompson at the helm. Low snap, handled well. Thompson puts that left boot on it. High and through the uprights. 7:47 on the clock here in Londonderry. And the Lancers with that early lead, 14-zip, capitalizing on that fumble on the kickoff. Leaving no doubt so far, but there's plenty of time left. But if you take a lead like this in a hurry on your own field on the gorgeous fall day in the playoffs, things are looking up if you're wearing blue today. Nevertheless, you got to get it done. Cabrera, number 6, and Kahanic are back deep again. Cabrera is the one who fumbled on the 21-yard line. He got hurt as he got tackled, and no doubt in my mind as a former running back and return man myself that had something to do with him losing the ball. But Thompson with that big leg is going to tee it up at the 40-yard line with his team up 14-zip.
Number 29, Blake Thompson.
Blake Thompson is a big kicker. All right, the Londonderry Lancer band warming things up as we put the leather on the leather here, courtesy of Thompson. And he puts that big left, and Cabrera will get a chance to amend things. He takes it at the 10, looks to get through the seam. There is no seam, and he is down quickly. That's a 15-yard return just inside the 25-yard line. And finally, we're going to see Jackson at quarterback. Multi-talented, multi-weapon type of guy. Swiss Army knife kind of quarterback. He can run, he can throw, and he can throw short, long. He's got great field vision. And as Coach Lauzon said, they have to have eye discipline on defense. And I think their force guys, the edge players, have to contain. They have to stay disciplined. Always a good guy to hand it off to is Samuel Levine. He came in, he had 436 yards during the regular season, and all he did last week against Girton was carry it 16 times for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. He picks up 4, making it a long 6. 7:20 on the clock, 14 zip for the Lancers on the scoreboard. And a good vision by Cody Jackson, finds his player in the slot. And that was Sam Levine who just carried, but just a short gain. You got a makeable 5-yard 3rd and 5 just inside the 30-yard line, and we're just inside 7 minutes here in Londonderry. Once they get outside, it's tough. These kids are very fast. That was excellent support. Excellent support by Javion Teeter. He came up from his cornerback position, and the sure-handed junior made sure of that. And there was no chance. And it looks like South is going to go for it, even though they're at their 34-yard line, 4th and 1. Dangerous position. You think they might try to bark and get them offside, and they're looking over to Coach Knight on the sideline and asking for some plans. And now he goes up under center, does Jackson, and then fades back into the pistol. And Jackson, beautiful early vision. It's caught and rolls and fumbled out of bounds, but nobody else touched it but the fellas in white. So we will have our first down for South at 6:08 in the first quarter, and that was a much-needed first down, folks. Down 14 zip with no offense so far because of that fumble on the kickoff, and they get out to the 42-yard line, 1st and 10. Nice little RPO and then a dump out to the outside. Finds the hands of Justin Fish, the talented sophomore. But yet another excellent play coming up is Javion Teeter. Boy, you got to like that kid's game, number 4. And just watch how quickly he gets up in run and then, therefore, pass support. All right, Cody Jackson goes middle, gets to the 3rd level in a hurry, bounces it outside, and he gets all the way to the outside, and he's got wheels once he gets in the open, folks. And that was an explosive run and a big chunk on 1st and 10. And that'll move the chains way downfield deep into Londonderry territory. And it'll be 1st down and 10 for the South Panthers. 5:37 on the clock, 14 zip on the scoreboard in favor of the hometown fellas in blue on this splendid November day. Jackson hands inside, always a good idea to give it to Emmons. Emmons so quick, and he bounces it outside. We got Laundry flying. Flags on the field, 5:29 on the clock. Emmons would have moved the sticks by a long shot, but we'll see what the refs have to say. Emmons had 3 rushing touchdowns during the regular season and had a great game against Bishop Girton last week, as we said. And we got a holding call. That's on the interior during that run.
Holding against Nashua.
Unless it happened behind the line of scrimmage, it'll be spot foul. So yeah, spot foul from where the holding occurred. And that'll negate the long run, but it still ends up being a net 4-yard gain. First down and 7, actually a 3-yard run. 5:20 on the clock. Clock resumes ticking. Nice cutback right there. I tell you what, Sam Levine has legs all day. That guy can move. You think you got him, and he moves left with that jab step in a hurry, and that moves the sticks for the Panthers.
First down and 10.
And they're on the 12-yard line, 1st and 10, knocking on the door in the red zone. 5 minutes even on the first quarter clock. 14 zip on the scoreboard. This one clogged up by that big Londonderry front line, and Colin Couture is a one-man clog. He is a big kid, 6'6", 285, and he can run. I watched him pursue against Exeter last week.
Timeout, Lancers.
And Lancers call a timeout. They want to discuss it, get the right personnel in. There was no gain on that first carry, and it's 2nd and 10 when we go to our timeout. But yeah, Colin Couture right there, 6'6", 285, and the man can pursue like a player much smaller. He never gives up on a play. I watched one of the Exeter running backs break through, get to the 2nd and 3rd level of the defense in a hurry, and he didn't give up. He turned, got his hips square, and he's the one who caught the running back. You know, supposedly a much faster man, but Couture comes out of nowhere and drew lots of praise from coaches and videographers all over the area who got to watch that game. They came up on the wrong end of that game, but Exeter is a ferocious team this year. Consequently, got the number 2 spot, and they're undefeated. Bedford, Exeter, and these Lancers got the bye weeks. Sometimes it can hurt, sometimes it can help. Clearly it helped the Lancers. They're looking good. But they got to play some defense against a very explosive offense right here. Oh, great pursuit right there. Speaking of pursuit, there was Cooper Freitas. Emmons on the carry.
On the play by number 52, Cooper Freitas.
And Emmons only got 1. That'll make it 3rd and 9. 4:20 on the clock, 14 zip on the board. And South taking their time, looking for Coach Knight to throw in the right play there. Deeply experienced man, 36 years coaching. And we got flags early, right before the snap.
Flag thrown.
And it looks like somebody was set up in the neutral zone. Yep, you got encroachment.
Call is offsides against Londonderry. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, we got all kinds of variations on what used to be offsides. We got offsides, neutral zone infraction,
3rd down and 4.
encroachment, lining up in the neutral zone, you name it. Nevertheless, it's a 5-yard penalty, and that makes it 3rd and 4. Ball's on the 6-yard line. And trying to bounce it outside right there is Cody Jackson. Can't do it. Great pursuit by all of the Lancers.
Number 7, Cody Jackson.
And that tackle was led out there by Ventura, and also Colby Walden getting in there. Inside linebacker. I got to watch him.
Brings up 4th.
If he can shed blocks, he is an
Panthers.
excellent tackler, number 58. And that'll bring up 4th down and 6. No gain on the play. 0-14. The South Panthers looking to change that. Jackson looks left, then he looks middle, finds a seam route. Beautiful read and finding the ever-trusty Colin Levesque, the junior, with those great hands and the quick speed.
Scored on the play by number 5.
He ran that nice seam route and then turned to the post, and with that look by Cody Jackson left, he froze a rotating defender in the end zone, and it was lights out when you put an accurate pass. Even inaccurate passes when it's Levesque, he hangs onto the ball really well. 3:14 on the clock, and South with a terrific 75-yard drive is able to punch it in for 6, and they're looking to tack on 1 or 2. And Coach Knight trying to get the right personnel, looking to go for 2 right here. But no, they finally get their kicker is Nick Chipchak. He had a great game last week. Now they think better of it. And we got Londonderry once again, looked like pre-snap, lined up in the offside neutral zone right there.
Offsides.
At that point, it'll be about half the distance. And Chipchak came off the field, so it looks like the Panthers are going to go for 2. If it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you don't. But they're committed. 3:14 on the clock, 14-6 now on the board. Panthers looking to make it 14-8. Taking their sweet time, making sure they get the right play from Coach Knight and his staff. Jackson in the shotgun. Had an RPO. Had he gone inside, he had room to run, but this one was snuffed out. Sam Levine got barraged by the interior of the Lancers defense there. So they keep him out of the extra point zone right there, and that keeps him off the scoreboard, save for the 6 points on that beautiful pass and catch. Again, 3:14 in the first quarter, 14-6 on our scoreboard here for Nashua ETV. Rich McDonough along with Tom King. Tom King not in the booth right now. He is down doing his multi-duty, the ubiquitous Tom King. TKpedia down covering, writing articles, taking pictures, you name it. Pick up the Telegraph tomorrow and you'll see the finished product. It's always fun to read. So that was an excellent 75-yard drive for the Panthers, and man, did they ever need that. It was medicine after Londonderry took the opening kickoff and drove down in a hurry, folks, like 3 minutes to make it 7-zip. Ensuing kickoff was fumbled by Diego Cabrera, who got hurt on that play, and the Lancers took it at the 21-yard line and punched it in rapid fashion with the ever-dangerous Cruz running right side and into the end zone. All right, off the boot here of Liam Gallagher. You gotta like seeing guys in the 68, the big fella. This one knuckles out of bounds, and flags fly, and that'll mean Londonderry gets excellent field position. But as we were recapping there, the 21-yard drive off the fumbled kickoff made it 14-zip for Londonderry, and Cabrera was able to field the next kickoff cleanly, took it out to the 25, and that 75-yard Panther drive ensued, capping it off with a great pass and catch from Jackson to Levesque.
It'll be 1st down and 10 Lancers starting off on their own 35.
And now a talented Panther defense is going to have to show that it's got game here. 35-yard line, 1st and 10 after that kick rolled out of bounds. Again, 3:14 on the clock. This is Londonderry's 3rd drive of the day. Inside handoff to Adrian Cruz. Once he gets outside, folks, he is tough to stop, and he has himself a 16-yard carry on 1st and 10, gets it into Panther territory, and it'll be 1st and 10 just at the 50-yard line, nose of the football exactly at the 50. So it was a 15-yard romp by Cruz. And once those fellas get outside and you got all that beef on the interior, it's lights out. You have a wall of blue coming at you, and then Cruz can finish with the best of them.
Ball is on the 50-yard line.
He goes in motion. Try it on the other side. No, it's an RPO. And really nice keep and nice read by Ogden. And he goes up and gets to the 2nd level of that interior of the Panthers defense in a hurry.
Tackled on the play by number 30, Nathan Case.
On 1st and 10 at the 50, he picks up 8 and make it 2nd and 2 at the 42.
Gain of 7 on the play, 2nd down and 3.
They say 2nd and 3. I'm right on the 42-yard line. Split the difference. But here comes Cruz again. Once he gets to the outside, I think we got holding downfield. The flags fly around the 35-yard line. We'll see that.
Flag thrown on the play.
Dylan Smith, Tim O'Neill, and I, they're producing, handling all the duties here, spinning the dials and keeping us moving. But we're right on top of the action here, and looked like there was holding in the secondary. But got to wait for the fellas in black and white to make that call. And yeah, they're looking the other way. Speaking of which, officials today are Tom Hansen, Sean Bean, Harry Marino, Mike Santro, and Rick Wilhelmi, And Ref Hansen makes that call, says it's holding, and that'll back it up from the spot of the foul. Again, if it's downfield, folks, it's always a 10-yard penalty, but if it's at the line of scrimmage or beyond,
brings up 2nd down
you mark it off from the line of scrimmage, but if it's downfield, you mark it from a spot.
Timeout Nashua.
And Nashua South calls it next time out of the.
Their first time
that's
out.
their first time out.
for the half.
And at 2:09, it remains 14-6 with Nashua South looking for clues on how to defend this multi-pronged Londonderry attack. And it's two excellent players,
Folks, the winner of
Ogden and
today's
Cruz.
game will advance
Very
to the next
difficult
round of the playoffs
to
take
defend.
on the
And then
winner
you've got
of the
a
Exeter
pair of tight
Memorial
ends
game.
who are
That
6'3"
game
and
is also
6'4".
being played
Very
today.
difficult. Bowles and Marshall. That's just a lot of beef. And they can also look that ball in and rumble once they catch. So you got to be responsible for all your keys. You got to keep the action inside.
And
But as we
have a
saw
score
on that
update
last run,
from the Exeter Memorial game in the second quarter, score is
Ogden can
Exeter
go the
7,
distance on the.
Memorial 0.
And we just got an update, out-of-town score at Bill Ball Stadium. It's Exeter 7-0 in the first quarter. Exeter is a team to be reckoned with this year, folks. Just ask the Lancers. They were on the bad end of that game to end up the regular season, going into the bye week. That changed things, though. That took South, in the loss to Goffstown by South, took them out of going to Bedford. Instead, had them at Lancer territory. But Lancers have been in the championship 2 years in a row, coming up short to Bedford. Will the third time be the charm? If Cruz has anything to say about it,
On the run is
the
number
answer is
23,
yes.
Adrian Cruz.
And on 1st and
Tackled
10
by
at the
number
back
9,
at the 50,
Samuel
Cruz
Levine.
picks up 4. That'll make it 2nd down and 6 at the 46-yard line into Panther territory.
Gain of 4 on the
Under
play,
2 minutes
second
here.
down
We're
and
at
6.
1:45 on the clock, and again, it's the Lancers up 14-6 on this sparkling, beautiful November day. Perfect football weather, folks. All right, Ogden gets him set. He's in the shotgun or the pistol with Cruz behind him. He looks left all the way, but runs it up just outside the end, and he
On
picks
the
up a
run,
nice
number
chunky
12,
yardage,
Sam Ogden.
and that makes it a manageable 3rd
Tackled by
down
number 9,
and
Samuel
2 to 3. It
Levine.
looks like 3rd and 3 as we head toward the 1 minute mark in the first quarter.
Brings up 3rd down and 3 for the Lancers.
And Noah Rao, number 9 comes in. Lanky split end right there. He's in the slot position nearest our camera, manned by Tim O'Neill. Got 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Everything looking ready to pitch. The beautifully designed setup for Cruz, and he makes no doubt about it. He gets downfield in a hurry, and he gets inside the 35-yard line. And that'll move the sticks one more time for a 1st down for the Lancers. Cruz got all the way down to the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. And we're at 40 seconds and counting here in our first quarter. So they'll get one more playoff, take their sweet time, I imagine. And Alex Villa comes in. He wears number 7. He's a multi-talented weapon. He's deep in the backfield, but you look almost like you got 3 left. Now we have Luongo bounce outside. Villa takes the snap directly to his right side, tries to push ahead, gets a short gain on 1st down, and that'll wind us out of our first quarter, unless they call a timeout, which is unthinkable at this point. Villa gained 1 yard on 1st and 10.
Gain of 1 on the play,
And that'll make it 2nd and 9, and his fellas are going to the end of the first quarter here. And here in Lancerville, it is the hometown Lancers on this November playoff day, and they are up 14-6. Fellas are going to take a quick break. We're going to do the same, and we'll join you in about 60 seconds. Rich McDonough here for Nashua ETV. See you on the other side. And welcome back, everybody. Rich McDonough here for Nashua ETV. Tom King's down on the field. my broadcast partner in crime. He'll be back up in the booth in a moment. It is 14-6 after 1 here at home of the Lancers. And Lancers have the ball second and 9. They had 2 touchdowns out of Adrian Cruz in that first quarter, 1 long run and 1 short run from the 1. And a real strong run by Alex Villa going left, and he gets to the second level and then the third level in a hurry. And he more than gets enough to move the chains. And that'll be a Lancer first down just outside the 20-yard line. They call it the 21, so we will too. 1st and 10 for the fellas in blue. And again, as we discussed, Adrian Cruz had 2 TDs in that first quarter. Some great drives. One was longer, one was short after a fumbled kickoff. But then the great response in a high tense situation by the Panthers. 75-yard drive with a pitch and catch into the end zone from Jackson to Levesque, which has been a trusty combination for a long time here, folks. But there goes Villa again. He's a big, powerful young man.
Is number 7, Alex Villa. Tackled by number 9, Samuel Levine.
And looks like Villa picked up 4. That'll make it 2nd and 6 ball.
Gain of 3 on the play.
They say gain of 3.
7.
Looks like 4 to me, but we'll go with it. Ball's on the 18-yard line. Just inside our start of the second quarter, Lancers are up 14-6 in this quarterfinal playoff game. Lancers taking their time. They want to get the right package and play in. And yeah, Coach Lauzon is going to call a timeout. You can see a little bit of confusion right there on the sideline. But look, you got the lead. You know your own field. You got your hometown fans in droves and the best band in the state. And maybe in New England, you got to feel that mojo. But 10:28 is where Coach Lauzon calls a timeout. And he's talking it out right now with his folks. And, you know, it's a 2nd and long, so get the right package, get the right personnel in, and make sure you keep this drive alive. And if you can keep it alive and punch it in, you're going up 21-6 in your second quarter on your home turf. That's a good position, folks. All right, they break out of the timeout, and Villa remains in the backfield all by himself there, solo in the shotgun. He's got 2 splits out to the right side. Misdirection inside, and he just keeps it. He goes up the 4-hole right there, and he moves the ball downfield and moves the sticks. Moves the down marker, making it 3rd and short. We'll wait for the call there. Looks like 3rd and 2 or 3 as we roll down to the 10-minute mark here in the second quarter. They call it 3rd and 2 for the Lancers. Ball's on the 12. Lancers looking to add to their early first quarter lead. Stack it up by another 6, maybe 7 in the second quarter at home. Villa stays in the backfield all by himself again. Cruz goes in motion. Same play, same call, same result, folks.
On the run,
move those sticks
7,
again.
It's good.
And he breaks inside the 10-yard line. So once again, the Lancers get into the red zone and inside for 1st and goal in a hurry. And they have a dynamic offense, and it is in full gear today. And back into the game comes Ogden. Great job subbing in by Villa. Shows what a powerful runner he is. And he did a lot of the dirty work on that march. And speaking of a powerful runner, I tell you what, Cruz barrels into the end zone, but I think we got flags on the field, folks, so let's wait and see what happens. Right in the interior, you might expect holding. And Londonderry doesn't look too happy about the result. So I think we're going to go backwards. But boy, Cruz is running well today. And all he did during the regular season was rush it for 93 carries and 594. And he finished 12th in the state. He also had 6 touchdowns to go with those efforts and 6.4 yards per attempt. So what do? The math is stark. Just give it to him.
Penalty brings up first down and goal from the 14.
And that'll back them up all the way to 14-yard line where it'll still be first and goal, but now you got 14 yards to go. 9:11 on the clock after that penalty. Going in motion in the backfield is Majarian. And everybody home for the Panthers this time, able to stack up Cruz.
Number 23, Adrian Cruz.
And that gang tackle led right there was Karuru, Ray Karuru. Right there is a physical linebacker right there.
Second down and goal from the 12-yard
Junior plays
line.
real well for Coach Knight. And that's a loss of 2 on that play. That'll make it 2nd and 12. Still 2nd and goal, but after that holding call inside the 5, they're backed up pretty well. 8:30 on the clock, 14-6 on the scoreboard here, folks, at Londonderry High School. Gorgeous, gorgeous football day. All right, Ogden under center this time. Gets that repeated toss there, and Cruz looking to pick his spots. Finds his way through a nest and moves the ball downfield back inside the 10, folks.
Kevin Hamill.
And we'll see where they rule the ball. From this angle, it's very difficult to see.
Goal for the Lancers.
And it'll be 3rd and goal for the Lancers.
Ball is on about the 6-yard line.
Ball's on the 6, so it's 3rd and goal at the 6. And we're under 8 minutes. Still 14-6. Londonderry looking to add 6 more. If they can't, I expect maybe 2-down territory right here. But you got a real good kicker in Blake Thompson. He kicked a 37-yard field goal last week at Exeter into the wind. I watched that. Very, very good kick. Bounced off the crossbar and over. Ogden, look, good pursuit, and he pitches at the last second. Doesn't matter whether they've been back or not. And Jordan Ball with those good hands and a powerful build, and he pops it into the end zone. Great vision. Great vision by Ogden. He drew everybody to him, and going the other way, we talked to Coach Lauzon about eye discipline, and there wasn't, that's got to go for both ways right there, folks. Everybody collapsed to the athletic Ogden, and then Ball was out all by himself, and no doubt about it, he gets into the end zone in a hurry, makes it 20-6 at 7:22. And the real good kicker, Blake Thompson, sends that one through the uprights, and that'll make it 21-6, 7:22 in the first quarter, folks. Playoff football at its best. You're loving life if you're wearing blue right now. And Coach Knight with the Panthers huddles everybody up on the sidelines, and they got some work to do. But they've shown they can move the ball downfield, and they're a disciplined offense. As we said, they have tons and tons of explosive talent at all their skill positions and a pretty good line to boot. So if anybody can respond, it's Coach Knight and his experienced squad right there. You just got to make it happen. And you can't turn this ball over, as we saw, versus the Londonderry Lancers. They're just too talented, and they're too deep with too many weapons themselves. And back deep this time is Sam Levine, very fast runner, joined on the back line there by Colin Kahanik. And Thompson, the excellent kicker, will tee that up. He's got a wind behind him as he tees it up from his 40. Gets his fellas set out wide, and off we go. And here goes the Londonderry marching band with their tradition, revving up the gears as we put leather on leather at the 7:22 mark, with Londonderry up 21-6. I believe I see my partner in crime, Tom King. This one sails over the head and off the hand of Levine, and that goes into the end zone where it'll be harmless touchback. And my man Tom King is on his way back up to the booth after doing double duty. And he's carrying a ton of media gear. He is, in addition to everything else, he is a Sherpa. The multi-talented Tom King, TKpedia.
Bad romance, let's go.
Well, Tom King, how did it look down there at field level?
Looked like Londonderry is one purpose: run left, run left, run left.
Steady dose of Adrian Cruz, and then joining him at the attack was Villa.
Yeah, exactly.
Quarterback, but boy, is he a big, strong fella. All right, there's a big gap. Great blocking there and a great pull. And punching it out. That was a beautiful, beautiful punch out by Villa, who adds the defensive mojo after help. It was like he made that drive, the offensive drive for the touchdown happen. And this one he punched it out after.
And that was a run play, right?
Yeah, after Levine went right and got to the third level fast.
Yeah.
Instead of just merely tackling, there's the punch drill. And we got another turnover, this time at the 40-yard line. We saw the turnover on the kickoff result in a touchdown.
That's just, the turnovers are just killing Nashua.
And we discussed it early on, and I mentioned it while you were out of the booth, Tom King, that you just can't turn it over against this Londonderry offense. They're just too big, too fast, and weapons, weapons, weapons. And Ogden in the pistol right there. He's 4 yards deep. He looks right. Good.
Yeah.
He's forced. And the pitch.
Look at this. Nobody there.
Beautiful toss. There goes Ball. He just scored that touchdown. But pretty darn good reaction by the Nashua defense.
Colvin Levesque stayed home on this side of the field, number 5, and makes that tackle.
On the run was number 0.
Well, one of my keys was their edge and their force players have to be disciplined and stay home.
And they were.
Bingo.
No gain. Maybe a yard, a couple of yards.
Yeah, he got a yard or maybe even 3.
Gain of 3 on the play.
Yeah, it was a 3-yard game. That'll make it 2nd and 7. We're at 6:30 and counting.
But you know what? That could have been 37.
Absolutely.
If Levesque misses the tackle, he's gone. Levesque stayed put right on that side and was able to make the tackle. Now, the key is he didn't leave his lane.
Stayed home, stayed on his keys. But I tell you, Ogden at QB is a master of drawing a crowd.
He is, and there was movement there. Again, ball moved.
A lot of pre-snap penalties by this Londonderry team.
Yeah, their penalties are killing them. They're really
numerous
hurting them.
lining up offside.
Yeah, all of that.
Yep.
You know.
Well, they're killing them, but they're up 21-6. That's not a bad.
Well, in spite of those penalties, but you know what? If they lose this game, they're going to look back on those penalties. So they need to take advantage of this fumble, right? They need to get as big a cushion as they can on South. And because South put up 59 points last week.
Well, and their response when they were down 14-zip was excellent. And they all stayed home. Once again, they stay home.
Yeah, stay home, and that's the thing.
Yeah, and this time it was Levine.
Yeah.
The two-way players, Tom King, for this Nashua South are very impressive.
Levine, Levesque,
number 9, Samuel Levine.
Evans,
yeah.
They're all big.
No
Trip.
play.
But as we discussed early on, blowing up the middle right there was Debussy.
That's why I think he's the best defensive player, because he sets the tone. He prevents offenses from doing what they want.
Right.
So they have to go to plan B during a play. That's not easy to do.
He's also disciplined, but while being disciplined, he's hungry. He plays that way.
Yeah, well, let's see if he's hungry enough to go after the quarterback here, because the quarterback's going to be passing. And
Loss
there he
of
is.
5.
Yep, there he is. He felt the steps he felt the rush.
12, Sam Ogden.
And BC was on the other side coming around. So it'll be 4th down. They're going to have to punt.
And Nate Case led that tackle.
I would not give Nashua the short field.
They pick up 3, make it 4th and 9 for Londonderry, 4:45 in the clock. And they're just outside their 40-yard line.
I don't know about this. I would kick it and pin them deep. Pooch punt it and pin them deep. Go back with a quick kick.
I see personnel walking up on Coach Lauzon, so they may have a punt in pocket. We'll see.
Let's see.
They don't mind running clock here, though. Try to get them to jump for whatever reason.
4:21 left in the half, so let's see what they're going to do. And they're going to call time.
They run it out for a flag.
But if I were them, they'll take the delay because it gives them more field.
Gives them
but
more
you know
room.
what? I would have done a quick kick. I would have done the quick kick. All of a sudden change your setup and back the guy up, back the punter up, and then boot it, and then pooch it and get it down inside the 10-yard line if I'm Londonderry.
Well, I was watching the secondary for the Panthers. They were pins and needles. I think they were expecting what you just said,
Yeah,
Tom.
I think they were too. But now they're going to have to punt it, and Nashua's going to be ready for it. I go all out with this kick to try to get it inside the 10.
And Villa in to kick.
And
nice punt, real high, nice spiral. That one's going to
And there
roll
it is.
all the way
It's
to the
going to
end
go.
zone.
Ah, that's not what you want. You want it. You don't want it
And
like that.
ends up in the end zone. It'll be
I think if he had
first down
knuckled it,
10
we're looking at
to
ball
Oregon
inside the
Memphis
20 for
starting
sure.
off
Yeah,
on their
exactly.
20-yard line.
I think he was surprised by how much air that got, but he did have a pretty stiff breeze behind him, and I think that just, you could almost watch it accelerate into
That's
the
the
end
thing.
zone.
The wind played a part in that, and that Nashua breathes a sigh of relief. They don't give up any points off the turnover.
But they gave up about 5 minutes of clock on that possession. Anyway, here we go, 4:08 on the clock, 21-6 for the Lancers on the scoreboard. Rich McDonough, Tom King for Nashua ETV, bringing you all this great D1 NHIAA playoff action. All looking over the middle, trying to find Levesque. Was Jackson that sails over the head of everybody, and I think that was fortunate. It was a high pass right there because you had two guys bracketing Levesque who may have been able to intercept that pass. Nevertheless, no gain on the incomplete, of course, and it's 2nd and 10.
But what
Ball
keyed
at the
that
20.
drive for Nashua South was Jackson running the ball. I expect to see him run it here. Nope.
Hey,
Hand
had an
off.
RPO in hand, handed off inside. They go through the 4-hole, and Levine picks up some yardage. We'll see what they give him.
Making the tackle.
Say
Looks
about
like he
5.
picked up 5 yards. That'll make it 3rd and 5. A manageable 3rd down,
Right.
but they've got to execute.
Play, 3rd down and 6 for Nashua.
And I tell you what, the large interior of the Lancer line right now has stepped up its game since that
Yes.
that long touchdown.
Yep.
drive. Throw out to Levesque in
Whoa,
the flats.
short.
And I tell you what, we talked about him earlier. There is Binder, a big man at 6'7", 290, able to get outside and tackle a real fast scat back right there.
Londonderry got what they needed. They got the 3 and out.
And they're going to get it back with, inside of 3 minutes,
inside of
but
3.
a digestible clock
Yeah, but
with which to work.
A team that's running the football. So in the wind, very tricky. Very tricky.
Oh, ball hits the
A
ground.
fake,
A
and there's
design
nobody
fake.
there.
And there goes Emmons. He is so fast. No flags so far. And Emmons drives off to handle that botched snap, picks it off the ground, and he runs.
Number 8.
My goodness.
On the run for the
Yeah, I don't think
went-
that was designed. I think that was a bad snap. And
He
Evans
made the
turned
most
into
out of it.
yardage.
But after the bad snap on the hop, everybody in blue was looking for the ball, and Emmons had nothing but green to run, and he scampers 32 yards, and that'll move the sticks into Lancer territory. 2:30 on the clock coming up.
This
1st and
is
10.
big.
43-yard line, and Jackson gets his fellas set. He's in the pistol right now. Got trips right near side of our camera. And Jackson looking to hunt that ball from behind. That's a terrific play coming up from his safety position is Noah Rao.
And that's what you need when Jackson takes off. You need the safeties to make the plays.
And that was a 6-yard loss, or excuse me,
1 yard loss.
1 yard loss, 2nd and 11, but they say no loss at all. This one goes out in the flats to Levesque. Levesque has speed.
And he's got a first down.
And he's knocked out by Rayo right at the yard marker. I think he got the line to gain and more. Yeah, they moved that stick. 152, we're under 2 minutes.
South
folks.
is doing a good job of getting people in space where there's no one. They're taking advantage of it.
Well, they got to get their fast players, their Swiss Army knife type of players out there right now, and they're doing so. Good support from the secondary, but it's when your secondary's making a lot of tackles, probably not the result you want if you're wearing blue. Timeout on the field. It's
Yep,
officials
we got an
timeout.
injury with Londonderry.
Can't see who it is from this angle.
No. Alvern up on Bedford, 14-0. How about that?
That is amazing.
That's in the second quarter.
I tell you, Alvern Broncos are a great story. 14-0 in the first quarter for the Broncos at Bedford.
They sure are. Wow.
Yeah, the fans here at Londonderry hear us. They're in disbelief and joy. 14-0 over Bedford, who's been the nemesis for Londonderry the last 2 seasons, two-time defending champs.
They can celebrate that but they need to win this football game, and Alvin's got to seal the deal. So
Well,
a lot left to go here.
A lot of
football left to go on a Saturday
Got to take care of
afternoon.
business on your home field. This is a great bunch of fans. I'm usually, as a Bishop Girton parent, I'm usually on the other side, and I just got to hand it to the Londonderry fans. They got tons of mojo. Class act. Oh, misdirection, counter, and sniffed out by the inside. Great reaction right there by Ayotte.
Was number 9, Samuel Levine, tackled by number 41, Cameron Ayotte.
And Tom, you and I talked about Cam Ayotte early on. I said I watched him last week
You
against
said he's
Exeter,
the key. Yep.
and he's a terrific tackler.
Second down and 14.
I mean, he's like a gnat. He just gets onto you, and you're done. Great reaction, loss, and it's 2nd and 14. Jackson looking to go long, has a man on the seam, and that is Kahanic. He's wide open. He's so fast.
Yep.
Beautiful,
wide open.
Beautiful skinny post. And at 1 minute even, he's down, and we got 1st and goal for the Panthers. Yeah, there was a big buzz with the 14-0 Broncos score.
This Nashua South offense can score. You've got to have every inch of the field covered if you're going to play them.
And they're so fast at every skill position.
Yeah.
And Jackson elects to keep. He's running it behind Levine. Levine throws a block. It's a short gain. We're under a minute. We're at 40 seconds. First quarter here in Londonderry. Great fall day. This is what you dream of when you're a football player. And it's 2nd and goal for the Panthers at the 3-yard line. 27 seconds on the clock. Hand it to Levine. He gets stopped initially. That was a real good reaction from the linebacker, Walden. I called his number earlier. I said if he shakes blocks, he can make tackles, and that's what that young man did.
And South has to call time. 3rd and goal from the 3.
That's their 2nd of 3 for the half. They got 1 remaining. 21 seconds on the clock. 21-6 on the scoreboard. And Panthers knocking at the door. Tom, their responses to their deficits have been pretty darn good.
Yeah, they are. And that's the thing is, you're Londonderry, when you didn't capitalize on that fumble, that showed me that South was going to stay in the game. You have to capitalize on the turnovers against South because 59 points last week. They are going to score points. You got to score a ton every time you get the ball.
Granted, Bishop Girton came into that game just walking wounded all over the field.
Right.
But you don't score 59 points on a Bishop Girton team unless you got weapons everywhere.
Unless you got weapons that can do it, and that's the thing is Londonderry's got to be careful. But South, boy, I'll tell you what, they're never out of a game.
They got a lot of grit and a lot of heart and soul, and that comes from Scott Knight at the helm.
But this is big. Londonderry, they get a stop. It's huge. If Nashua scores, it's momentum going into the half.
All right, 3rd and goal at the 2. Bump it out to Levine, and he goes airborne. It wasn't Levine, excuse me, it was Emmons.
And he's short.
And they say he was short. He went airborne. They got 1 timeout left, and Coach Knight's going to use it.
He is stopped on the
so you're going to see, I'll tell you what, I don't know what you do here.
4th down and goal
because everybody's going to think it's going to be push the pile.
Play resumes.
You might want to
Tush
gamble
push.
and go wide, you know?
I'm a Washington football fan, and I saw too much of that on Thursday night.
That's illegal in high school football.
Right, it is.
So
you can fake it well, but we got a good reffing crew. They're going to pick that stuff up.
Nashua, that's their 3rd and final timeout for the half.
That was the Panthers' last time out of the half, and they used it wisely. 10 seconds remaining.
But see, I think if you go where Londonderry isn't, that's where you get the score.
Another score update from Exeter at halftime. It's Exeter 17, Memorial 0.
Yeah, that game at Exeter is all set. So.
If you heard the announcer here, the PA, it is Exeter 17 zip.
And that's who this team would play. Londonderry could be excited about Bedford losing, but they got to worry about Exeter next week, and so does South.
Well, and certainly they were on the wrong end of the game at Exeter, and they travel over there again.
So here we go.
All right,
4th and
10
goal.
ticks on the clock, 21-6 on the scoreboard.
The down doesn't matter, the clock does. Shotgun attack, not over center.
And that's a good guy to give it to.
Yep.
Emmons, he was denied on that last one. Won't be denied on 4th and 1 at the 1. And he goes in for 6 points.
The only way to stop Nashua on that play is to get into the backfield. And Londonderry not able to do that.
Well, they've got to hold their keys, notwithstanding. And there are too many keys to hold.
Once you see the shotgun, you have to have somebody coming wide. Because if it's over center, then you don't worry about it. But it's shotgun, come wide. if they had somebody on the outside coming in, they make the play.
Well, I think we got a good crackdown. Kevin Hamill on the interior there made a great block, and he went left, and that opened up a nice hole. This kick goes way high, and they say it's good. It went over the near side.
Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, it was flirting with that right side goalpost. Notwithstanding any of that, they tack on one.
And that's big, right? That is huge.
That is huge. 21-13, it's a one-score game going to halftime. Unless something miraculous happens here for the Lancers, they get a huge run back.
And it's all Emmons with that play, the punt, right? The punt.
He made something out of a lot of nothing.
Right. There's a bad snap in the dirt, picks it up.
35-yard run.
I'm wondering if they were going to do it or not anyway, but I think he probably always has the option.
I would think so.
I would think so.
His IQ, his field vision, and then
and
his
there was
speed.
no one on that side.
Right. It was all green. But, you know, he does have that IQ. A lot of these players for Coach Knight have really good football IQ and excellent field vision.
So it's back to being a one-score game. If I'm Londonderry, I talk about penalties and I talk about staying in the spaces and not allowing open space. If I'm Nashua South, I'm talking about doing what you did on that series of last series Londonderry had it.
Getting set to kick
Stop
off
the run as much as you can. Force them to pass, and then things will work in your favor.
All right, Karuru has to hold in this stiff breeze here. Boys on the kick, and there's that diamond formation. He likes to go short. Real good hands right there. Nice job. We've got to talk about Walden several times. The linebacker, good tackler, and
good hands.
Props to the Walden family. The young man wearing number 58. I said he's got to shed his blocks, and then he's a capable tackler, and that time he showed he's a capable ball handler too. Love the young man's game. Family's bringing it out in droves today. Great mojo. And I believe we got a Bedford contingent out of the Walden family too. Well, all right, 40-yard line, 5 ticks on the clock. Rich McDonough and Tom King in the booth for Nashua ETV on this blessed Saturday afternoon. Well, and Ogden looking, here we go. You're going to put in a Jaden Daniels play, and this one sails over the head of a breaking Paquette.
And that'll do it.
That'll wind us out, Tom King.
That's it for the first half, everybody. Here from Sawyer Field at Lancer Park at Londonderry High School. The score at halftime.
Great first half.
Great first half. It is Londonderry 21, Nashua South 13. Stay with us for the second half right after this.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, taking the field for your halftime enjoyment is the Londonderry High School Lancer Marching Band and Color Guard.
And welcome back, everybody, to Sawyer Field here at Lancer Park. I'm Tom King, along with Rich McDonough. The score here at halftime, it is Londonderry 21 and Nashua South 13. And the two differences in the game, the fumble by Nashua South on the kickoff that turned into points for Londonderry, 7 points, and the failed 2-point conversion for South. That adds up to the 8-point deficit. And we're not for those two plays, game could be tied or South could be in the lead here at halftime.
Without a doubt. And then, of course, the excellent scamper off the punt formation.
That was the key. That's the key to those. I said the keys to South trailing. That's the key to South staying one score away in the game. The play by Kyle Emmons on the punt. It was a low snap, and he ran 35 yards for a first down. South ended up scoring on the drive just before the end of the half. And if Londonderry loses this game, they're going to look at that as a turning point. Rich McDonough, you got some information for us.
Well, in addition to stats that we'll do, I got to tell you, Nashua Community Media and today's game coverage on Nashua ETV is funded through franchise fees paid by Comcast Cable Television customers in Nashua. And you can find our community programming on channels 6, 16, 22, and on our new HD channel 1073. We're also available streaming 24/7 via Roku, which we have at the McDonough House, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire devices, or on the go via our new iOS and Android smartphone apps. Download the free app onto your smartphone to watch today's game and other great Nashua ETV programming. So just go and search for the Nashua Community Media TV app. And thanks to our Comcast cable customers for making this broadcast possible. Also, we'd like to say
hello to JoJo.
Hi to JoJo DeFazis, watching from Florida right now. She
must be nice down in Florida. But you know what? It's not a bad day up here, JoJo. It's nice out. You know, it's a little windy, but it's not that cold.
Yeah, but Nashua North kid helping us out, and she's terrific.
Yep, she's a student at Nashua North. Pretty good volleyball player as well. Her mom is the coach. Here at halftime. Now, Londonderry has not come out yet. That tells me they had a very intense little halftime discussion about what they weren't doing. Penalties and also plugging the gaps to stop South running game, because despite being down 8 points, Nashua South, by my statistics, has outgained Londonderry 171-169.
Right.
Londonderry on the ground, though, 165 yards. They've gone to the left all the time. I was over on the far side of the field waiting for a sweep somewhere towards me so I could get a decent photo. Couldn't get one of Londonderry because they wouldn't do it. They insisted on running to the left.
Well, we discussed that at halftime, Tom. You wonder, is it the longest setup ever? Running left, 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 eventually getting the Panthers queuing on the left side game and coming back the other way with some misdirection.
So there's a lot of adjustments that both teams are going to make. Nashua South, though, 61 yards in the air. Cody Jackson, 7 of 9. Pretty good completion rate. So Jackson, the 30-yard run he had to ignite their drive after the first time they had the ball for a set of downs.
Right.
That was huge. 2 fourth-down plays, and then of course the punt. If Londonderry stops that, we got a different game. But if Nashua doesn't fumble, we have a different game. So a lot of football left to play. We will tell you at halftime it was Bedford trailing Alvord 14-7.
Right, Bedford got into the end zone right before the half. But Tom King, you used an interesting phrase when we got to talk about things at halftime, and I wonder whether Coach Lauzon for the Lancers had him in the break room for a little extra long. You said they might be playing with fire, Tom King, as far as handling
I think they are,
Nashua South.
because Nashua South's got a lot of talent and a lot of players you've got to worry about. In Londonderry, St. Ogden, Villa, and Perez. Who else? Ball, maybe. Who else?
Ball's terrific.
You know, you've got Emmons, Levine, Fish, Levesque. You know, I mean, Tripp. You got a lot of players on Nashua South that can do some things. It's a lot for a defense to have to worry about. And plus Jackson. The one thing that I haven't seen, see, Londonderry, they've got to cut down the wide side, but they also have been very vulnerable over the middle of the field. Have to be very careful. You've got to have every angle covered against Nashua South.
Well, and when Coach Lauzon and I got to talk Thursday, he admitted it, and you know, Exeter threw the ball well. So a skilled team, lots of skill positions for Nashua South, but part of that equation might be changing right now because the breeze here has just gone to a whipping wind.
It's not a breeze anymore. It's a steady wind.
It is a hard wind, and it's swirling all over. Look at the leaves all over the field, and the flagpole flags are whipping, and the American flag in the far end of the field is going the other way, and it is absolutely getting whipped in this wind right now.
Completely.
So that's not a great thing if you got any kind of throwing game that you lean on, and Nashua South certainly does.
Here's the big thing about South scoring right before the half. They will get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah,
so
big.
That is a very big deal if you're Nashua South.
And interestingly, going back deep is.
But the wind is going. The wind is at their back, correct? It's got to be at their back.
Yeah. So a strong-footed kicker in Blake Thompson is kicking into a really hard wind right now.
He's probably going to kick it on the ground and try to boot it beyond the second tier, the third tier of South players. They have 3 lines. You want to boot it beyond that if you can ground it hard through there and force somebody to pick it up.
Well, and back deep as usual is Colin Kahanik, but this time joining him is Sam Levine, number 9, very fast. Unless it's Emmons, the jersey numbers are squished.
Might be Cabrera, isn't it? No.
Well, he had that.
See,
fumble.
I think Londonderry is going to have to waste a guy to hold the ball. I don't think you're going to be able to kick it out of the tee with this wind.
And that's well, Cam Ayotte went out first, and we got holders by committee.
Well, it's going to be Ball holding it, and that's too bad because Ball's got some speed. You know what? And he's a guy that can get down there on special teams and make a tackle. So this is very key. I mean, I think you're going to have to ground it, and you're going to have to line drive it through that tier to try to get South deep. And they do line drive it.
And it's still knuckles.
Still knuckled and taken.
Really, that's Levine. So back deep was Emmons. He had a heck of a first half.
That's too good a field position for Nashua South to have to start the half.
Yeah, Levesque.
Number 5, Colin Levesque.
Levesque brings it out to the 40. Their jersey numbers are all squished in front, so it's hard to get a read on that.
Welcome to my world when I'm looking at photos.
I usually say my LASIK holds up pretty well, but you can't when the numbers are all compressed.
Nope.
All right, nevertheless, it's 1st and 10 as we get going in our second half. Hometown Lancers up 21-13. Jackson flooded in the backfield and wrapped up. Bear tackle by Cooper Freitas.
And that is the first time I've seen Londonderry get that backfield penetration. And they make the tackle. He's a big bear, boy. You don't want to be in his wrapped around him.
Well, Freitas was in the backfield before they could blink.
Oh, yeah.
Down and 5 for Nashua.
That's 2nd and 5, 2nd and 15.
Correction,
2nd and 15 after a 5-yard loss on 1st and 10, 2nd and 15 from the 35-yard line.
But he's not going to go anywhere.
Boy, Londonderry came up, wound up this half. Absolutely wound up.
The best way to catch the Lancers is when they over pursue. So this is big because you know South's going to try to throw it.
All right, Levine got 2. And that'll make it 3rd and 13 at the 37. Say that 10 times fast. We're at 11
13,
minutes.
37.
I thought you were going to do it.
And there's the space. No one there. Now they have to come back, and they do.
Out to the flats, and Levine and Villa, who had himself a very good first half for the fellows in blue.
Number 7, Alex Villa.
And that's a loss of 1, making it 4th and 14.
2 on the play brings up 4th down and 15 for the Purple Panthers.
Well, what happened was the blocking for South was steady, but Londonderry plugged the lane on the right side, and you couldn't get outside, and then the linebackers, that gave them time to recover and come back the other way and make the tackle.
Speaking of plugging the lanes, remember what happened last time Emmons went back to punt.
And he does start to step up. Now, you got to field this.
And
they don't.
Paquette is back there. He lets it
can't.
bounce. He couldn't catch up with that.
You have to catch that ball in the air. If you don't catch it in the air, it's going to roll back, and your field position is going to be lousy.
I felt like I was watching his body language. It was knuckling, and I thought he was playing with fire if he put his hands on it. If it gets away from you, you're toast.
I still think you've got to catch it in the air, though.
Okay. Nevertheless, it's going to be 1st down and 10, deep in their own territory are the Lancers.
Bad field position.
Once again, winning
and
50-50
ball's on the
8-yard
line, 1st and 10 for the Lancers, pinned way back.
And that's from not catching the football.
Pick up your prize of
Catch the ball.
So that turned out to be a 57-yard punt.
Great job by Emmons to boot it the way he did.
Inside handoff. Gets to the rumbling, bumbling Carson Palma.
On the run for the Lancers is number 26, Carson Palma.
You don't want to overlook him. He had 34 carries for 268 and 3 TDs during the regular season.
And I think that's something Londonderry could have done more in the first half, is run it wide.
Well, and run it right. They went right.
Yeah, right.
6 on the play, 2nd down and 4.
Boy, Palma is a bowling ball. Don't want to get in his way, but you got to. All right, they picked up 6, make it 2nd and 4. Ball's on the 15-yard line.
On the run is number 23, Adrian Cruz.
And back to old reliable, the 5'9", 205, Adrian Cruz.
Samuel Levine.
He's able to barrel into the 2nd level.
For a Lancer, 1st down.
And that'll move the ball to the 21-yard line. That'll move the ball to make it 1st and 10.
Ball is on the 21-yard line.
9:19 on the clock. 21-13 as we get going in our second half.
Londonderry ran it for 165 yards in the first half.
And passed for 4, I believe.
Yep.
All right, Rich McDonough, Tom King here for Nashua ETV. We got Tim O'Neill, Dylan Smith spinning the dials, producing everything. DJ Petey Pete Johnson and Dan Young in the hometown studios in Nashua. Boy, a ferocious run up the middle. Driving, thriving, and surviving. Look at him move that pile.
This.
Holy cow.
Wow. Oh, boy. And that's the size.
I got to say, Ogden.
That is the size that Scott Knight was talking about the Londonderry had, because he got a lot of help on that run.
A lot of help, but Ogden, I mean, a machine.
Oh, my God.
Absolute machine. That's a 21-yard, never say die type of run by number 12. That's a man who wants to win this game. And you expect that out of your senior QB and leader.
Adrian Cruz.
And Cruz takes it on 1st and 10, gets about 3 or 4. We'll see where they put the ball. They set it at the 45. That'll make it 2nd down and 7.
2nd down and 7.
8 minutes even in our 3rd quarter. Last we heard,
ball is on the 45.
Bedford had gotten a touchdown late in the 2nd quarter to make it Alvern 14-7 at the half, and we'll get you all the info as we get it. Nice toss to Varga. Varga with a nice little jab step inside, and he will not be denied.
What?
On the run is number 23.
Boy, Londonderry came out on a mission here, Tom. Both sides of the ball.
That was Cruz on the carry.
1st down and 10.
And he just lowered his shoulder to get those extra yards and another 1st down at the 47.
Willing it past the line to gain 1st and 10 at the Panther 47-yard line.
Run.
When it looked like he had almost nothing.
Nothing, exactly.
All right, into Panther territory we are, 7:20 on the clock. It remains 21-13. Ogden keeps, nice little misdirection there.
Sam Ogden on the keeper.
And that could have gone. Why didn't it go for more? Because the Panthers on the back side did not bite on the fake, and they stayed in their lanes.
Well, and Emmons and Levesque stayed home
Right, they
often
stayed home.
in the first half, and they did it again.
Right. And
yeah,
that
he
was,
got to the second and almost the third
yeah,
level.
he got 5 yards, but you know what? He could have gotten 45 and a touchdown.
With his athleticism and speed, absolutely.
All he had to do was beat that second tier, and he was gone.
6:45 on the clock in the third quarter. It remains 21-13 on the board. Ogden all by his lonesome. Gives the inside handoff off to Palma. Palma goes left this time, and he gets around the end, and look out, he could go.
Out of bounds.
And he is downfield and joyful, tossing the football back to the ref. That is a strong, strong runner, and once he gets to that edge, which was not contained, he had nothing but green space and did a great job scampering down the far sidelines.
Got out of bounds a little bit, back a little bit further than I thought.
And he was run out by Kyle Emmons, who went all the way across the field.
The 19.
Yeah, so that was a 22-yard run, making it 1st and 10.
We have an official timeout on the field.
And official timeout, 6:29 on the clock.
Well, let's see, we got anybody hurt? I don't see anybody hurt, so let's see what that timeout was.
I think they're just debating field position. And now getting the clock set. Here we go.
As long as they're not debating where to go after the game, that's all we care.
All right, 1st and 10. Londonderry on the march again. Ogden fakes a handoff, goes gut, and he's stacked up there. Bottom of the pile, we'll see who that is.
Number 12,
banged
Sam
up on the
Ogden
play.
QB keeper. Making the stop for Nashua was number 17, Cole Patno.
Yeah, that was Cole Patno, and he's grabbing his hands. I think he got stepped on, Tom King. That doesn't hurt when it's warm.
Ouch.
All right, 6 minutes even on the clock, folks. Londonderry driving. Pickup of 4 on that 1st and 10. Make it 2nd down and 6. Ball's on the 15-yard line. 5:50 on the clock in the third.
You run the ball, you run the ball, you run the ball. But if they get a stop, that forces things.
All right, Ogden in the pistol, hands off to Varga, who's right behind.
No stop
he goes
there.
inside out, and he bangs it back to the left after picking up significant yardage. Varga just rumbling.
Right.
And it is telling Tom King.
That was Cruz. That was Cruz.
Did I say Varga?
Yes.
Excuse me. But it's Cruz, but it's telling that Tom King that all the tackles on this drive are made by the secondary of the Panthers.
Exactly, and now it's 1st and goal.
Ball is on the 4-yard line.
And what this does, if they score, that's a touchdown. You give up the points, but you gave up clock.
It's a huge drive.
Yep.
I mean, they had the ball just about inside of 10 minutes. So far they've eaten up 9.5 minutes.
Let's see if they continue to go right. They went away from what they did in the first half.
All right, 1st and goal inside the 5. It's at the 4-yard line. Ogden looks right, bounces back left, and again at the bottom of the pile. This time it's Levine.
I think their best play is wide.
And I got to say, I'm watching the secondary and the linebackers for the fellows in white, and they're sucking tubes right now.
That's why I run wide.
Gassed.
I make them run. You know, I think it plays it in their hands when you go up the middle like that.
And you see all the linemen with their hands on their hips, usually a sign of fatigue. And that's the kind of churning type of drive that Londonderry is putting on them.
Well, they say they got it down to the 1, so.
That's a long one.
Sure is.
We'll call it 2. But on this drive, they're
and
picking up chunks. And there's nobody absolutely for Cruz.
I saw that area wide, and I said, that's where they got to go, and they did.
And number 2-3 finds the end zone for the 3rd time of the day at 4:15, and they tack on 6 and make it 27-13.
So, whatever Jimmy Lozon told his team at halftime, it obviously worked.
Every person.
They get a defensive stop, and then they drive the ball from their 8-yard. That is a 92-yard drive.
And that is a hammer type of drive.
That
But every player wearing blue right now.
All on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plays, 92 yards.
And the sure-footed Thompson knocks that one through. That makes it 28-13. But yeah, Tom King, you pointed it out. They came out on an absolute mission. Every single person wearing blue is on a mission right now.
They're bigger, they're stronger. They need to take advantage of that. And if you're South, you got to have your speed. Your speed has got to be your key to get back in this football game.
And I got to tell you, I'm watching Sam Ogden's body language on the sideline. He is focused beyond belief right now. Well, you expect that out of your senior quarterback. Well, I tell you, we got a heck of a halftime show from the Londonderry band. They did a Billy Joel montage, and I got to say, they modulated the keys from the original, and they didn't even take a break.
Don't use those big words in front of us.
I'm so sorry. Proper modulation. Maybe that'll make Howard Stern this week.
That's too many big words.
Instead of me using 4-letter words. All right, the sure-footed, big-footed Blake Thompson kicking into that big win, 4-15.
Oh, man, that win is something else.
Londonderry up 28.
But you know what? Londonderry knew it. They knew they couldn't throw it. They have to run it. And they did it.
And once again, John Inglis is down holding the ball.
So, but the key here, all right, let's see what happens now. I don't want to go too far ahead.
And this one skips almost a carbon copy of what we saw the last kick.
Yeah, but you can't let him go outside, and that's what they do.
And this fella is fast, I tell you what.
Yeah. So
don't give Levesque an inch.
Return was number 5, Colin Levesque.
So here's the thing. When it flips at the end of the quarter,
First down and 10,
then
Nashua.
South
They will
doesn't
start
have
out
the wind,
on
and
their
they
own
have to
45.
run the ball. They won't be able to throw it if the wind stays the way it is.
And it just died down right on
And
cue.
yeah, exactly, right on cue.
And it feels about 10 degrees warmer as soon as that happened. 4:08 on the clock.
Well, I got a ski cap on. It's probably in the high 50s, but it's still, that wind makes it colder.
All right, 4:08 on the clock. Second drive for the Panthers here in this second half. There he started at the 45-yard line. They hand it out to Levine, who comes all the way across field, bouncing it outside and then shedding a couple of tacklers. Finally brought down there by the sure tackling Javion Teeter.
Stopped on the play by number 7, Alex
Teeter made
Villa.
some really good plays coming up from corner in the first half.
On the play, second down
This time
and
he's
2
forced to make
for
the
the
corner
Panthers.
play in the corner because Levine got 8 yards on 1st and 10, make it 2nd and 2, crossing into Lancer territory.
Yeah.
Wow. This time, big gang tackle out there on the Levine run, and that gang tackle was led by Cooper Freitas.
On the run was number 9, Samuel Levine.
And Freitas is having himself a good game.
It's
Started too
Whistle
quick.
before the
Down and
snap, I
10
believe.
For Nashua.
Started too quick.
We have an official timeout on the field.
Why? They beat the officials.
I think it's possible they were still using the kicking ball.
I think they were also looking at the mark.
There we go.
So now what that does, that official, oh, there's a penalty here. Look at how far back South is going. Is there a penalty? No, I guess not.
No, they're just having a deep huddle right there.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But what that does is that stops the no huddle.
You need as
Everybody-
much mojo as you can get right
I'll tell
now
you
if you're
what.
wearing white.
Yeah.
All right, 1st and 10 at the 45. And here we got a
option
gadget
pass.
play.
It's covered.
It's short.
Let's see.
Watch the pickoff attempt.
It's covered, and it was a great coverage. They stayed home,
The
and
pass by
usually
Evans
with
is incomplete.
when I saw the play, I'm
Was
looking
broken
and
up
I'm
on the play by
saying
number
I'm going to
6,
see
Ethan
somebody
Wheeler.
wide open, and I didn't.
Brings up
Well,
second
Emmons
down
can
and
do
10.
it all. That time it knuckled out of his hand. He didn't
Yeah.
get a clean release. It was short. And good job by Wheeler to stay home and stay in coverage.
They gave South the first down on that. That's what that timeout was about.
They must have flirted with the line. Nice pass out to Levesque. Levesque breaks an initial tackle and gets down the sidelines and deeper into Lancer territory.
complete on the
Clocks
play
at
by number
2:52
5,
when he
Colin
went
Levesque.
out of bounds. And that'll move the
Stopped on the
sticks
play
more
by
than
number
enough
3,
for the line to
Matt
gain.
Luongo.
And he gets all the way down to,
Stood for a
looks like the
first down and 10
32-yard
for
line,
Nashua South.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. That was a nicely designed
Ball is
play,
on the
went right out to the
33.
And
flat.
that's all South's got to do. Get passes off while you have the air for 3 or 4.
And this time they inside handoff to Levesque. He goes up the gut with 2 gap, really. Not 2 gap, excuse me, 2 hole and gets the A gap.
There's not too many times you're going to go 3 and out like South
On the
did
run
earlier.
was number 5.
Well,
Colin
as we've
Levesque.
talked, they've got speed at
Gain
every
of
position.
4
I'm
on
watching
the play,
Cabrera,
second
number
down and
6. He
6.
got hurt on that kickoff where he fumbled in the first half, and he's still limping, Tom.
Yep.
That's tough. RPO, and Jackson goes up the middle. Diagnosed,
On the run is
snuffed
number
out,
7, Cody Jackson.
and there is Mr. Villa again. He's having himself a game today.
There's still
Tackled on the
positive
play by
yardage
number
for
7,
Jackson. He
Alex
gets 5.
Villa.
And Villa is an
Brings up
excellent,
3rd
strong
down
athlete,
and
Tom.
4.
We're at 2:10 and counting, 28-13. Home of the Lancers. Feels like home sweet home so far today. But South has a little bit of momentum here. Looking at that little
Nice
slant.
pass.
Beautiful throw and catch. and picking that one up, getting low. That's Colin Kahanick.
To number 2, Colin Kochanek.
And I'll tell you what, Jackson put that only where Kahanick could get that.
Right, low, and he slid for it.
Yep, perfect design and perfect execution. Here comes Emmons. Nice little spin out of the tackling attempt by Ventura.
Well, this is a textbook drive by South. Textbook drive.
Well, they're using every skill position perfectly right now.
Well, they have to, because it's the only time they're going to have the win. Right?
Amen to that, unless you want to go low and slow, and they don't have the time to do it. All right, if they can punch one in here, that's really meaningful. 130, 28-13, Lancers up in the third. Panthers are driving. Don't try to fool Mr. Binder right there, Binder.
On the run was number 7.
Excuse me, the big fella, 6'7", 290.
By number 76, Paul Binder.
And Binder did not get fooled, and he wrapped up Jackson
from the 5-yard line.
Second and goal at the 5. Just a 1-yard gain, and if Binder hadn't stayed home, I think number 7 is in for 6.
Now this is the pass play. That's the one time I didn't see timing work.
Is incomplete on the play.
Yeah, they were.
Number 11, Joshua Tripp.
Yeah, they were looking for Josh Tripp, who's been banged up. Coach said he could go, and he feels pretty good.
He's made a couple of tackles, but hasn't made an impact offensively.
But that was the first time they tried that
but
slant.
Now they may try high up to him. Well, they're going to try to run wide,
yeah,
and that's
Emmons,
not going to go anywhere.
They saw Emmons all the way. That was the first time they tried that skinny post left side, Tom. And
so
Londonderry's all over.
Fourth down was number 8, Kyle Emmons. Gain of 1 on the play. Correction, loss of 1 on the play.
Yeah, Emmons lost 1 right there, so that backs him up to the 6.
So here we go. This is the third fourth down play for South. They've converted on all of them. 1 was a touchdown, 1 was a first down. Pass is over the middle, it's tipped.
It was tipped, and I think Villa got a handle on that.
And that is a big stop by the Lancers, but boy, I'll tell you what, got to give South credit for getting that close, but I'll tell you, this is...
It was either Villa or Freitas, but either way, they were hugging each other, and that was a great hand, and it disrupted a play where the slant receiver looked like he had a crack. He was open.
I'm telling you, the timing for South's passing is very good in the red zone. And Londonderry stops it.
Well, I guess they'd seen that one on tape a few times, and they saw it the play before, or 2 plays before, and it's 1st and 10 for the Lancers. 51 ticks on the clock in the third, and they've got a 15-point lead, and then we got an official timeout. And they are at the 6 because we had that turnover on downs. And
they want to put up more time on the clock or less?
They're talking about they've taken off 10 seconds.
Taking off 10 seconds, I thought so. That was a lot of time.
Make it 41 seconds on the clock. And all they have to do is get an appreciable gain right here or make it manageable for second, and then you got the wind at your back the rest of the way.
Just if you're Londonderry, run 1 play here. And here we go with the push.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Carbon copy of what we saw.
And that's close to a first down.
He's flirting with it. And that time it was Ball. He's a powerful runner.
Number 1, Jordan Ball.
And they can just run the clock out. He picked up 8 yards.
Yeah, they can run the clock out here. You don't run a play. You do not run a play if you're Londonderry. If you're South.
Oh, there's no reason to.
Yeah, if you're South, you basically say, okay, we got our jobs to do going the other way with not much help with the wind. They are going to run a play.
And we got an update. It is 14-14 at Bedford.
14-14 at Bedford.
Bedford Bulldogs have come back from 14 zip to tie it in the third. And speaking of the third quarter, Tom King, that winds us out of our third quarter. So after 3 here on Nashua ETV, NHIAA D1 quarterfinal game here at the Lancers home field. It is 28-13 for the hometown fellas in blue. Good quarter there, Tom King.
It was a good quarter, and the thing is, the difference, Londonderry's ground game. When you drive the ball 92 yards, that really does. And you know what? Who cares if they're going with the wind? If they can throw the ball on this, because they're going opposite way. Keep doing what you've been doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a score
if you're South, get a turnover. South needs to get a turnover.
They need the ball. Can't do anything without the ball.
Right.
And the announcer here at Londonderry just announced the tie score with Bedford coming back from a 14-zip deficit, and you hear just oohs and boos across the board here in the aluminum stands and the hometown fans. I think the Lancers would obviously love to get some revenge on their two-time championship nemesis, Bedford Bulldogs, but I think they'd rather play here and see Alvern rather than the Bulldogs.
They won't
Bulldogs
play.
in the
No, they
one
don't
seed.
get them in the snow.
No, they wouldn't get them in the semis.
You're mistaken.
Excuse
You
me.
don't get them in the
They're
semis.
looking ahead to 2 weeks.
Right.
Pardon me.
Yeah, don't look ahead anywhere. If you're Londonderry.
We're probably going to see Exeter.
Not against
whoever.
this South team.
This winner of this game goes to Exeter. Excuse me.
And see, there's what South can do. They make that stop.
Assuming Exeter holds
On the
serve,
carry
and
is number
they
one,
were up
Jordan
17
Ball.
zip at the half.
It's good for a Lancer.
And that'll
Oh, they got
move
the first
sticks
down.
one more time.
Wow,
We're
intent.
just 20 seconds into our fourth quarter here. 28-13 for the hometown Lancers
Yeah.
over the Panthers. I tell you, I look back on that long drive, the 92-yard TD drive in the third quarter, Tom, and Ogden's man-sized run up the gut, dragging everybody with him. That changes the
it
team's
changed
mood.
everything. It changed everything. Got him out to the 41-yard
An
line.
incredible run.
Look at this. There's a hole.
And look
big
at the hole opened up inside, and flags are down. You got to believe it's in an area where you're going to call holding.
Holding, yeah.
And I'm looking at the Lancer linemen, and they're kind of dejected, hands
Yeah,
on hip
exactly.
right now. Yep.
Yeah.
That's 11-14. The clock freezes while the officiating crew calls this one out. Flag is down at just outside the 20-yard line, and it is a holding
Penalty was
on the
holding
Lancers.
called against the Lancers.
And that'll walk them back.
Shark. Baby Shark, let's go. Get it out.
So it's a spot foul just outside the 21. That'll march them back to the 11, just out, well, they're calling it the 10-yard line. And it's 1st and 19 as we hit the 11-minute mark. Again, 28-13 for the Lancers
And
up
this
on
is,
Nashua
this
South.
is turnover territory, right?
Not if you're
now.
the Lancers.
Not now.
And there goes Mr. Cruz.
My goodness.
And man, is he fired up.
My goodness.
And that was a 22-yard run on 1st and 19 after that holding call. That is a backbreaker. That is a backbreaker, Tom King. And I think Mr. Cruz knows it. Pumping his chest, pumping his fist, and pumping up his team. 10:30 on the clock in the fourth. And time is thy enemy if you're wearing white.
And there's one of those runs we were talking about, right?
Chunk yardage, chunk, chunk, chunk. And the interior line right now for the Lancers is just blowing Nashua South off the ball. All right, here comes Ogden, keeping little misdirection, fake up the middle, and he goes wide,
On the run
brought
is number
down out there
12,
by Levine.
Sam Ogden.
And once again, Tom King, it's the secondary making the tackles for the fellas in white.
Making the stop for Nashua was number 9, Samuel Levine.
So Ogden picks up 3 on 1st and 10. You'll make it 2nd and 7.
Down and 7.
Ball is on the 36-yard line, and Lancers are just chewing the clock to pieces.
Boy, are they ever.
This has been a decisive second half. They just came out, like I said, on a mission. Every person is doing his job right there. Fake up the middle. Ogden looking to throw. Throws it up high, and that could. Well, he's looking for ball, and
Yeah,
settling back was Emmons. Nice job.
See, I don't think you want to do that.
Ogden's
if you're
pass
Londonderry.
is incomplete
No
on the
reason
play.
to. You're getting
Intended for
positive
number 1,
yardage
Jordan
every
Ball.
running play.
Brings up
Keep the
3rd
ball
down
going.
and 7
You put yourself
for
in
the
a 3rd and
Lancers.
7 hole by doing that.
But of course, if it connects,
Yeah.
you end up with a 15, 20-yard game or more, and you look like the Swami.
I think you're better off running the ball and chewing up the clock. The clock's not running right now.
It is stuck at 9:17
you
and
may have
3rd
to
and
punt
7.
And you may have to punt the ball away.
But I think as well as they're running up the ball, and again,
I
the
don't
interior.
see, now I don't think you can run here. See, you're going to have to throw it. unless you run it wide and try to go for the big play, turn the corner.
Well, and they've got two ends on the right side, and in motion right now goes Paquette.
Yeah, see, that's not going to do
And
it, I don't think.
Ogden
See?
keeps, and he's knocked down by
That's
Emmons.
not going to do it. You've got, that's why.
run is number
That's a
12,
great
Sam
play if it
Ogden.
was second down.
Stopped on the play
Right?
by number 8.
Yeah.
And
Kyle
that's what that
Emmons.
pass decision does. You get a little greedy
Brings
sometimes.
up a 4th down and 3.
And
for
will
the
they
Lancers.
punt it? They're
Oh,
showing
they
no.
have to punt it. You kidding me?
They don't have a punter in right now, so we'll see.
I can't see them.
My
not-
guess is they'll try to call them, get them off.
I can't see.
offsides.
I cannot see them not punting the ball.
But it is 4th and 3 at the 39. 8:43, 8:42 ticking down off the clock.
Yeah.
Ogden gets them set in the back, out of the huddle, and
Let
gets them
the-
set. They're
Let the clock tick. Now, if you're
their
Nashua,
body language says they're going to try to tricky cadence right here. But Paquette goes in motion, fakes the
oh
inside
my goodness,
handoff,
he's going to go for it, and he makes it.
And there it is. The interior of the line just
wow.
blew him up.
On the run.
What
was
a
number 12,
gamble by
Sam
Londonderry.
Ogden.
My goodness.
But as I was saying, that interior for the fellas in blue are just controlling
Oh,
controlling
that's
the
a
line of
heartbreaker for South. My God. And I felt the same way when South went for it early in the first quarter on 4th down in the same around the same area and made it. Down 14-0. They guess they felt they had no choice.
All right, after that, Ogden first down conversion on 4th, and it's 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line.
But if
Lance.
I'm them, just run the ball. If I'm Londonderry, run the ball. If I'm Nashua South, time to go for the football. Time to try to punch it out. Boy, they're taking all that clock down, and they're going to call time.
And
Timeout. Timeout.
It's
Lancers.
on death
That's
by-
their first
death by
timeout
paper
taken
cut.
for the
It's
second half. They have
7:45
2
in the
remaining
clock.
For the game.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am
once again,
shocked
the winner of
that they went
today's
for it on
game
4th down there.
I'm not.
I know you're not. You
I know.
weren't. I got to give you credit there,
I-
Mr. McDonough.
Once in a while, the old coach's instincts come
No
out.
kidding, huh?
It's either that or
That
try to
game
draw
will
him
be
offside.
played
But
at Exeter.
Yeah.
you know, my son, as you may remember, for BG was the master of that cadence
Game
and part,
time
getting
Yeah.
guys
have not been
offside.
determined.
Ogden has that kind of leadership ability, though.
Unbelievable.
He is putting his team on his back along with Cruz and just carrying them to the semifinals. It's a great display.
Now,
Go ahead,
I'd
Tom.
love to know why the timeout there, because you got South on their heels a little bit and maybe a little tired. So I'm wondering what the purpose, maybe you mix up in the play call, you didn't know it, whatever. That's always great to call timeout. But that gives South a little time to catch their breath.
A little bit, but I think they're still a bit dazed and confused
I think
out
so.
there.
Now, if
Props
you're
to-
Londonderry, you got the ball on the far side. Take advantage of the space. Go to the left our way, and let's see if they can get any yardage. South is clogging up that middle.
Ogden in the pistol
Now
gives
they're
off
going to
the
go straight
ball.
ahead. So much that I know.
A little bit of a jab
On the run
step
is
counter
number
there,
1,
and he goes
Jordan
back middle,
Ball.
gets up to the second level, almost the third.
Tackled on the play by number 9, Samuel Levine.
And Tom, we've talked about it before when I was coaching.
Pickup of
You get to
7
that
on the
fourth
play,
quarter and you got to
second down and
lead.
3. Ball is
You just
spotted
holler out to your
right on the
kids,
50-yard line.
chew clock. Just chew the clock and get home, start up that bus. You don't have to go
Yeah.
far, you're at your hometown.
If they take another 3 or 4 off the clock and force South to go a long way, it would probably be tough for South to come back.
All right, 2nd and 3 after a 7-yard scamper by Ball.
And they cheated up.
give it
South
back to
cheated
them.
up. They were ready for that.
Yeah, they saw that.
They saw that coming.
Too many misdirections in a row.
Yep.
Of course, if they guess wrong, it's trouble, but Ball's a powerful runner.
Still, you got yardage out of it. You got into South territory and finally at the 50.
Yeah, they clogged it up. He gained
gained
about a yard. It's 3rd and 2, they say, at the 49-yard line. Just creeping into Panther territory. 6:35, folks, and
Well,
counting.
big 3rd down, but you got to figure it's 2-down territory for Londonderry, right?
Oh, always.
Well, 6:30 to
Gain
play
of
in the
1 on the
game.
play,
As long as you
3rd
don't get
down
caught
and 2
behind the
from
line of
49.
scrimmage, you figure the odds are in your favor to get 2 yards on 2 plays. Just don't get too fancy. That's getting fancy, but
Nice
they've got a head
pitch
of
to Ball.
steam.
Beautiful gap right there. He exploits it.
Oh, he
gets
may be
through
gone.
3rd level. Mr. Ball.
Nope, he's out.
On the
The only thing he did wrong was go out of bounds.
ball.
The only thing he did wrong.
It's
But the
good
speed,
for a
that's the
Lancer.
speed that Nashua had. A lot of other teams would have no way to
With
catch
a
up to him.
flag thrown at the end of
And
the
there's
play.
a flag at the end of that play at
Ooh.
6:09 when
You
ball
wonder
ran out of
about
bounds.
It won't take away the first down, but it might take if it was Londonderry.
That was a 29-yard scamper by Ball.
Down at the 19-yard line.
And,
The call is a personal
Oh.
foul.
and you got a personal
against
foul.
The Purple Panthers.
A little late hit or little salutations at the end of that run by Ball.
Well, probably got a hit out of bounds. You had 3 guys going after him.
Yeah, we couldn't
and
see through
we
the
couldn't
crowd.
see through
It's
the
a
through the
first
team.
down and goal for the Lancers.
So now it sets up a first, and they said first and goal,
They
but
said
I don't
goal.
think
I
so.
don't see
They're at
the
the
ball.
15-yard line.
Yep. No, they marked it at the 9, so it is inside the 10.
All right.
It was half the distance, and it was just inside the 20 when they called that penalty.
Not that time. Good
Jam
job.
Handoff was
session.
to number 1, Jordan Ball.
Good job by the Panthers to plug that up.
Yeah, Trevor Stephen, just big old 77,
But
just
now,
clogged
Rich
that one up.
McDonough, we are approaching 5. 5:52 left to play in the game in a 2-score game.
Yeah, and that was a 2-yard loss on first and goal from the 9,
And
make
you-
it second and goal at the 11.
Yeah, exactly. First
Loss of
negative
about
play.
2 yards on the play.
Now Nashua South
Brings
still
up
has
second
3
down and goal
timeouts,
from the 11.
but precious little time to use them.
I thought coming in that Londonderry would be tempted to do a lot of the razzle-dazzle plays and things like that that sometimes play in the South's favor, like Bedford tried after they took a 14-0 lead in their game. But no, Londonderry went ground Lancer.
Well,
And
that was the recon was Nashua. You can run on them.
On the
I
run
saw
was number
Londonderry do a
12,
flea
Sam
flicker, a la Theismann and Riggins
Making the tackle for Nashua
last
South was
last
number
week,
9,
and
Samuel
it
Levine.
fell flat, and we got an
We
injured
have an
Panther.
official timeout on the field for an injury.
They rule no gain on that play, so it'll be 3rd and 11 when
and let's see who's
young
out.
man
we can't,
gets some
we can't
attention.
tell who's down.
it's one of the big guys.
Yeah.
And we're at 5:06 on the clock, and we're stalled for the moment. Prayers up for that young man, 28-13 on the clock. Last time we heard it, it was 14-14 at Bedford versus Alvern in the 3rd quarter. And we got the injured player right now. That's Debussy.
That's what I was afraid
Don't
of.
need him hurt.
He's up.
He's a good player. He's a really good player, all-state caliber. And he is hurting.
He's up, but he's
limping badly.
limping badly.
Cannot put any pressure on that
No.
left ankle.
Nope.
And he gets some help from his brother Emmons.
This is a very close-knit team. You talked to Scott Knight, he said they love football. Last year, all those losses, he said every Monday they were back in school and they were back at practice ready to go. What do we do, Coach? What do you want us to do? He loves this group.
But last year with the losses, though, you felt like you were so close, but so far. And
You
they're
knew
all
that-
wondering whether this year was a year
You
where
knew
they could
that
make an impact.
experience would make an impact and they would improve and be a playoff. I thought a playoff team this year. I thought that was going to be the case. I didn't think they'd be undefeated going into a Bedford game and the next to last game of the regular season.
All right, but Nubusi, their senior tackle, team leader, goes off the field. And Ogden looking to create, throwing out
Ogden's
wide,
pass is
looking for
incomplete on the
Luongo.
play. Intended for number 3, Matt Luongo.
Luongo can't handle
Brings
that
up
one. It was a little
4th
wide of his
down
fingertips.
and goal
So now we're going to get a
from
field
the
goal attempt.
12-yard
Well, with the
line.
wind at his back and an accurate kicker, a big leg kicker, why not? 4:54 on the clock, 28-13. You're at your home field.
So let's see, how long is the field goal?
Looks like they're going to set it down and around the 20. Can't see. The lines are kind of washed
Be
out from this
about
angle.
a 30-yard attempt.
Yeah, 30-yarder coming.
Yeah.
And again, good wind at his back, and it's a straight wind. Puts his left boot on it, and he hooked it left.
No good.
And the field goal attempt is no good. So it's a turnover on downs, 1st down and 10, Nashua.
I think that's all right, though. You got a good kicker with a good leg, and you
I think
take
you
your
tr-
shot.
I think you tried. I think he was a little intimidated by the wind. Instead of getting it up in the air, he line drived it, and it tailed. So that would have been a clincher. Instead, South is alive. 4:49 to play, but they're going to have to score quick.
And they got 80 yards to go.
Yeah.
And, I think that's a reasonable call by Jimmy Lauzon. And they're going into the wind. You're at your home field and you got a loud crowd.
And you got a 2-score game.
Giving it up for their D. Yeah, 2 scores.
And they need a conversion on one. They need a 2-pointer on one of them.
But
so
the Panthers have 3 timeouts, 4:49 on the clock, and facing a real uphill battle and an upwind battle. Jackson all by his lonesome, going to flare out to the flats. Nice job, handle, and breaking some tackles right there.
That's not what you want to see if you're Londonderry, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're Nashua South.
Well, Josh Tripp, the junior, he's nicked up coming into the game, and he looked pretty good right there. Not as fast as you usually see him, but he picks up a huge chunk of yardage.
And he gets out to the 45.
Yeah, so at the 45-yard line with a 25-yard pass and catch and run. Now this time a little bubble thrown out to the flats to Justin Fish, the sophomore, who's a good runner.
Passes complete on the play to number 1.
Didn't get much though.
And once again, Villa on another tackle.
You're running the no huddle.
Number 7, Alex Villa, and number 76, Paul Binder.
But they picked up 3,
Yep.
but the clock is rolling, Tom King.
Well, we're still not under 4 though. They made the most out of the time. And see, there's no, see, look at all that space.
Everything to the flats, and this time it's Levesque, and he
gets
gets ridden out of bounds hard by Teeter. Teeter is an excellent tackler.
To number 5, Colin Levesque.
And we have finally hit the TK 4-minute mark. 28-13.
He did not get out. The clock is still ticking.
Yeah, they turned his momentum back
Yep.
rather than outside. And I think if you're a Levesque, you're wishing you'd make a dive out of bounds for the chalk. This time Emmons slips 3, 4 tackles, gets to the 3rd level, and finally has to get brought down by Bureau.
Al, if you're Londonderry, you worry about tackling.
Well, that was Luongo. They're 2 number 3s on this squad.
And now Emmons is hurt, as he's got to hop off.
They got to give him a timeout to get off there. That's not fair.
Well, he's going to run it.
He should take a
He's
knee.
gonna run off. He should.
Yeah, he should have taken a knee. That chewed up 15 seconds right there. All right, Jackson gets back. He's all alone. He's got a man streaking down the middle. Oh, and it's off the fingertips of Justin Fish and goes through the end of the end zone.
Had him.
Jackson's passes
just a little too far, but it hit him in the hands.
Justin Fish.
I tell you, there's a lot of drama here. If they score quick, but it's really going to be up to Londonderry, A, get an onside kick, and B, run the ball and get a first down. But South has got to score very quickly here.
All right, 2nd and 10.
They're at their 30. They're at the 36.
36-yard line, 3:26 on the clock.
They have to score fast.
Jackson looks left, decides to keep it, and he breaks through 3 tackles and bounces all the way out to the outside. A time-consuming run, but a 9-yard run nonetheless.
9 yards, but we're taking it down maybe under 3 before they snap it.
It will be under 3. It's 3:09 on the clock.
On the tackle for the
Remember, no
Lancers was
2-minute warning in high school football. Have to let people know that.
3rd down and 2 for the Purple Panthers.
3rd and 2 from the 30.
3rd and 2 from the 30.
Well, that's all right.
That's all right. You move the sticks and flags flew.
South, that's good.
We got laundry on the field, folks. Clock is stopped at 2:52 while we sort this out.
Kochanek with a flag thrown on the play.
And we'll get a call quickly here. And we got an illegal receiver downfield, legal man downfield. That is deadly.
The initial call is an illegal player downfield against the Purple Panthers.
Couldn't see who it was. They don't do that in high school football. Nonetheless, 2:52 on the clock. And that'll walk back the Panthers after they're chewing up some yardage. Precious little time.
34.
They still got 3 timeouts.
2:44 to play.
Jackson looking right, gets Fish. Fish cannot handle it. He was looking downfield before he looked it in.
Jackson's pass is incomplete on the play.
Tom King, we talk about this a lot. As a coach myself, I always tell the player, no matter what sport it is, if you don't have it, you don't have it. So you got to have scientific knowledge that you have it, and then you can go to work.
Right, keep the eye on the ball, possess it, then turn. Oh, this is huge here, 4th down.
4th and 8, folks. Ball game right here. And it's thrown too far inside of Fish. It hits the field, and Londonderry's fans let out a group cheer right there.
And that will do it. Rich McDonough, I am going to go down on the field to get reaction shots. Great doing the game with you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
As I say, Tom King, more fun with you, but it's fun to be here. All right, don't trip on the way down, TK.
34-yard line.
The man is half mountain goat and half media guy. All right, after the turnover on downs, 2:32 on the clock here in Londonderry. The fellas in blue are just looking to chew it out, chew it up, and get on home and get to the locker room. And if you're Nashua South, valiant effort, great season. And lots to be happy about. You don't look for moral victories as a coach, I know that. And but you still got to look at yourselves and say, well done, fellas. And we're in a very tight formation, just looking to get your power guys outside. Cruz bounces it out, not satisfied with just short yardage, and smartly he gets inside to keep the clock moving. And a huge run on 1st and 10. Adrian Cruz flexing his muscle figuratively and literally as the clock hits 2:20.
For a Lancer, first down and 10.
And Cruz with the big run gets to the 35-yard line, first down and 10. Monster run by a monster running back who has made big plays all day. 3 touchdowns, 2 minutes on the clock now, 28-13. Nothing to do but wind it out if you're wearing blue and start thinking about next week. If the score held out in Exeter at Bill Ball Stadium, they'll be traveling out there, and they just saw them a couple weeks ago and took the L. Determined to change that one, no doubt, Jimmy Lauzon and crew. Jordan Ball takes it on 1st and 10. Little, if any, gain on the play.
Ted Smiley.
And then
timeout.
Nashua South takes its first timeout of the first half. Probably should have done it a little earlier.
In this half, they have 2 remaining for the game. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the winner of today's game will take on the Exeter Blue Hawks.
And it is official, Exeter will be hosting. And Londonderry knows that field and knows that foe.
Division I football
and they're going to watch a lot of film about how things went.
Next weekend.
As past his prologue at times, you talk to Coach Lauzon, and he said there wasn't a whole lot of great eye discipline out of their defenders playing against an excellent gadget quarterback that Exeter has. And you got to keep your eyes upfield, eyes on your keys in order to play proper defense. And they exploited Londonderry that game. They will be ready for this.
5 minutes remaining in the game. The score is still tied. Bedford 14, Alvern 14.
And we just got a nice out-of-town update. In the 4th quarter, 5 minutes remaining, it is Bedford knotted up at 14 with the Alvern Broncos. And there's a hush that fell over the crowd here at Londonderry. Londonderry getting to the title game two years in a row in 23 and 22. And going down to Bedford. Bedford last year led by Kevin Sheridan and company. And their excellent running back, Brody Helton,
Cruz,
found themselves on the top side of a 28-8 win.
42, Raymond
and the year before, that exciting barn burner ended up 15-14 in favor of the Bulldogs. They came out of the nowhere with a lower seed. I think they were 8th or 9th seed, and then they really had turned the corner with momentum at the end of the season in 2022. Nevertheless, the 2-time defending champs are getting all they can handle from a really excellent story in the Alvern Broncos. If we can get updates as we wind this game out here, we're at 1:31 in the 4th. We will do so, folks. Again, this is Rich McDonough. I've been up here with Tom King, who's now down on the field, producing here, filming, doing everything, spinning all the dials. My man Dylan Smith and Tim O'Neill back in the hometown studios. DJ Petey Pete Johnson choosing our surf music here, which I love, and my man Dan Young getting it all done back in the studios. All right, 1:31 on the clock, 3rd down and 5. The ball's on the 30. Victory formation, sort of. Give it off to Cruz. Cruz fights, wriggles, tries to get every bit of yardage he can. It keeps the clock moving.
23, Adrian Cruz.
And Coach Knight calls yet another timeout. That's all you can do.
Their 3rd and final timeout taken for the game.
That's their last timeout. That'll bring us to 4th and 5 after no gain. 1:23 on the clock, 28-13 on your scoreboard. And if anything that does, the timeout allows us here to wait for an update on the Alvern-Bedford game. Well, this has been a great day here. Got the phenomenal marching band here. Tons of energy out of that group. Always is. Even though I've been a Bishop Girton parent, it's always fun to listen to those young people play. And they treated us to a montage of Billy Joel tunes, and they got it. They nailed it. That's what happens when you're marching bands with 5 xylophone players. They've got 5 skill position players, and they're 5 layers deep, and then you add 5 xylophones. Holy cow, what a band. All right, platoon comes in. It's 4th and 2 after a 3-yard gain, which they hadn't announced when we broke for that timeout. Ogden gets him set. Clock is stopped at 1:23. And he fakes the handoff, and he cuts back, and that'll do it, folks. Ogden gets plenty of yardage. That'll move the sticks one last time for the Lancers. And they're going to go in victory position when we see the next snap. And the glow plugs have been warmed up on the bus for quite a while, and now the bus engine is started, folks, as we wind toward 1 minute in our game. And I just got a report, Bedford has the ball, 1st and 10 at the 50 with 4:34 left on the clock at Bedford. Bedford is driving. Bedford just got a huge play, and they went to 1st and goal in the 4th quarter. 14-14, and Bedford Bulldogs are knocking on the door, ladies and gentlemen.
Number 12, Sam Ogden takes the knee.
And Ogden takes that one knee, and that'll get us inside 40, which is the play clock. And we'll do our best to chew up a little time here and see if we can get one last update for you. We hit the 20-second mark.
12, Sam Ogden
they take one more knee, and that'll do it. The Londonderry Lancers hold serve on the hometown field, and they're going to go out and get a repeat date at Exeter at Bill Ball Stadium with Billy Ball doing the coaching. They know each other well. The kids have a lot of respect for each other, and Coach Lauzon will dial up a great game plan. We have no doubt. So on a day when we saw run for the Londonderry Lancers, and the final score is 28-13. I just got word that Bedford punched it in the 4th quarter, and they took a 4th quarter lead, 20-14. No understanding what happened with the extra point. But we had a great game here. Nashua South has to carry its head high. They had a heck of a season after being on the short end of a lot of games last year. Great coaching job, as always, by Coach Knight. But Jimmy Lauzon and the Londonderry Lancers get the job done here at Lancers' hometown field, 28-13. So for everybody at Nashua ETV, I am Rich McDonough saying we will see you down the road, folks. Thanks for joining us.